are starting to do us in. I won't say it wasn't fun, but now it has to end. Life is moving oh so fast, I think we should take it slow. Rest our heads upon the grass and listen to it grow. Going where the hills are green and the cars are few and far. Days are full of splendor, and at night you can see the stars. Life's been moving oh so fast, I think we should take it slow. Rest our heads upon the grass and listen to it grow. She is walking quickly, like there's someplace she must be. In her eyes there's no one, there is no one she needs. He sits with his paper at a Sunday table. Just another morning, she steps into his gaze. He looks at her, she looks at him. For a moment there is nowhere she is going. He looks at her, she looks at him. For a moment they could almost fall in love. Not a word is spoken, no touch, no heart broken. Just another morning of a beautiful day. He looks at her, she looks at him. For a moment there is nowhere she is going. He looks at her, she looks at him. For a moment they could truly fall in love. looks at her. She looks at him. For a moment there is nowhere she is going. He looks at her. She looks at him. For a moment there is stillness in the world turning. World turning
Si tienes un hondo pena, piensa en mí. Si tienes ganas de llorar, piensa en mí.
Good afternoon, everyone. Goeiemiddag, dames en here. So baie van julle in die saal. So groot saal, min van julle. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this doctoral graduation ceremony of Stellenbosch University. Middag, dames en here, hartlik welkom aan elkeen van u by hierdie doktorale gradeplegtigheid van die US. Vanweer die nasionale COVID-19 regulasies en die universiteit se gesondheids- en veiligheidsprotokolle sal hierdie geleentheid bietjie anders daar uitsien as gewoonlik. Ek het 'n langerige lysie van aankondigings wat ek in belang van tyd meestal in Engels sal oordra. Along with the rest of the country last night, we closely followed the President's address to determine the possible impact of the newly announced regulations on our remaining graduation ceremonies this week. We had a late night meeting of the organizing committee and we determined, based on the RSVPs received, that we are compliant in terms of the new limit of 100 individuals for indoor gatherings. We've also been following very strict health and safety protocols, as you would have experienced coming into this venue since the first ceremony yesterday morning. Due to COVID-19 regulations and our own protocols, we have a different ceremony than usually, so please take note of the following. All graduates and guests have been assigned unique seat numbers. Please do not change seats, as the seating record will be used in case any potential contact tracing becomes necessary. Only the essential staff members required to constitute a congregation will be present at this event. Thank you for understanding that we had to limit the number of guests you could invite. In light of the latest announcements by the President, we are clearly below the 100 attendees per event. Rest assured that this hall is thoroughly cleaned and disinfected before and after each ceremony. The wearing of a mask is compulsory for both graduands and guests for the full duration of the ceremony, including when graduands cross the stage. Please maintain a safe distance of at least 1.5 meters from others at all times, on the stage and elsewhere. No food may be brought into or consumed in the Endler Hall, only water is permitted inside the venue. Now to the ceremony itself. We will unfortunately not be singing the national anthem as is our custom, but instead listen to an instrumental version of it directly after the procession has entered in a few minutes. When we get to the awarding of degrees, graduates will be called up onto the stage, but there will be no handshaking with the Chancellor or hooding by the registrar in order to comply with COVID-19 regulations. At the conclusion of the ceremony, once the procession is left, we respectfully request that you exit the venue swiftly, also the building, so that cleaning and sanitizing with a view to the next ceremony may commence as soon as possible. If you want to take photographs, by all means, it's a special occasion, but please do not congregate in the foyer for that. Rather go outside and do it in front of the building or outside, or even in the beautiful Victoria Street. Kindly, when you leave, kindly ensure that you take along any waste items such as water bottles, tissues, etc. when you exit the venue. And utilize the waste disposal bags for that purpose. Also take along the program. If you have received a program, just don't leave anything behind. If guests and graduates do not adhere to these conditions, we will unfortunately have no choice but to request that you leave the venue. Baie dankie vir die geduld met die talle aanwysings, dames en here, dis egter in ons almal se belang. Here's a piece of good news. This ceremony will be streamed live. In fact, the stream is open as we speak. So it can be followed via live streaming from anywhere in the world. In case you were not aware of this, you are welcome to share the following URL in a text message or a WhatsApp with your friends and family, wherever they are. It's www.sun.ac.za/streaming. Please note that load shedding may interrupt internet connectivity and therefore also the live streaming, but you will be able to access a recording of this event afterwards on YouTube via our streaming page at the address I've just given. Load shedding will, however, not end the ceremony. We have a generator on standby. If a power outage should occur, please remain seated while we switch over to emergency power. Lastly, we request that you please switch off your cell phone or keep it on silent for the duration of the ceremony. You're welcome to share your graduation experiences on social media with the hashtag SUGrad. If you do take photographs, please switch off the sound and flash first. Dames en here, ons is bykans gereed om met die plegtigheid te begin. ons vra dat u sal opstaan vir die akademiese prosessie en bly staan tot nadat ons die nasionale lied geluister het. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession and remain standing until after we have listened to the national anthem. Thank you.
Goedemiddag dames en heren, Mweni, Dimasiari. Goedemiddag, good afternoon. We're going to start this joyful but solemn ceremony to honor our PhD graduates this afternoon with a solemn rendition of the national anthem, die nasionale volkslied. Ons gaan dit nie sing nie om besmetting te voorkom, maar ons gaan nou luister na ons nasionale lied. Sal jy asseblief die sitplekke inneem. Please be seated. Ek wil begin deur net 'n kort besinning te doen oor die rampspoedige jare wat ons gehad het. I'm going to start by inviting us all to reflect on what a terrible year it's been. But at the same time, I want to reflect on your achievement. You would not be here this afternoon if you hadn't persisted, if you hadn't been ingenious, if you hadn't been courageous. And I want us therefore, just for a few moments, elkeen van ons by ons eie sekulêre of geloofs verband of verbintenis en ons geloofraamwerk, net om 'n paar oomblikke te besin oor die mense wat ons verloor het. My eie sussie Jeannie is 'n paar weke terug ontsteek met COVID. Luckily, she recovered, my sister, very quickly within a week. She was one of the fortunate. Other people have not been so fortunate. I think some of you have had serious illnesses in your family. Some of you may even know people who've died. We face a catastrophe in this particular region of our country. I want to do, before our reflection, while we are with COVID, I want to pay tribute to the university's executive. I will introduce them to you later after our reflection. But Professor Wim de Villiers, the Rector, the Vice-Chancellor, hulle het uitmuntende poging in reaksie op die rampspoed wat ons getref het hulle gedoen. And the university has kept going, learning, teaching, research kept going. 2,000 laptops were distributed to especially less resourced students to keep up the output of the university. And these ceremonies at the end of this year are, I think, an emblem of success of the executive's commitment. Right until Friday, we weren't sure at all whether we would have any ceremonies this week at all. We decided on greatly attenuated ceremonies. And last night, terwyl ons gewag het vir die president om aan te kondig wat verdere maatreëls, inperkings en inkortings hy sou aankondig, was ons nie seker of ons vandag sou kon voortgaan nie. En na 9 uur het die registrateur, Dr. Renel Retief en haar span, alles oorgedoen om te verseker dat ons kan voortgaan met julle gradeplegtigheid. Dr. Renel Retief, whom I'll introduce in a moment, she and her team sat up till late to make practical arrangements, clickers, badges, stickers, numbers, new compliance requirements, voldoeningsvereistes, and they succeeded. So we are here now. Let us take just a few moments of silence in our own religious belief framework or secular rationalist framework, and just to reflect both on the hardships of the year, but also on your attainments and what they represent for how we're going to go in to the challenges of the years ahead, which I think is very positive. Just where you are seated. Thank you very much. Baie dankie dames en here. Ek het nou die groot plesier, die kanselier werk nie vir die universiteit nie, maar hy is 'n amptdraer van die universiteit. The Chancellor is not an employee of the university, but she is the titular head, the ceremonial head of the university. And the Chancellor has one power. I can't order the Vice-Chancellor or the Rector what to do. I can't tell the Dean what to do. But I can constitute a congregation of the university by virtue of the powers vested in me. And I'm going to do that now. As kanselier verklaar ek dat hierdie kongregasie van die Universiteit van Stellenbosch behoorlik gekonstitueer is. As Chancellor, I hereby declare that this congregation of the University of Stellenbosch has been duly constituted. Ons is werklik trots en bly dat u hier is vanmiddag. Ek het vroeër vanmiddag in my opmerkings vir u gesê wat alles gedoen is om te verseker dat ons voortgaan. I'm really overjoyed. Graduation is a deeply significant event. I was thinking over lunchtime today, I haven't made these remarks, the similarity between the formality of a court sitting. I've been a judge for 25 years. It was my main adult activity. We dress up. We wait. We proceed into court. In the Constitutional Court, where I was for the last 11 years of my judicial career, you wait until everyone rises afternoon, and then you process into court. There's a formality to the hearing. And what it signifies is not just a formality, because we could conceivably issue orders simply on paper. You could have got your degrees. Ek kon die PhD's gekry het, eenvoudig deur die registrateur en die rector en ek die sertifikate geteken het. It's something deeper. It's a process that pays respect to the outcome. And the outcome is your lives and your careers, and what we pay respect to is the singular effort and the concentration that it requires to get any degree, but particularly to get the degree that we will confer on you this afternoon. The highest product of any tertiary institution anywhere is the PhD. It's a collation of effort and knowledge and insight and focus which contributes to human knowledge, and I hope, and I believe you hope as well, particularly in your action-directed faculty, that it contributes to the betterment of humankind. So we are very, very pleased that you are here. I want to now introduce you to the members of the executive who are on the stage. Die rector en kanselier, Professor Wim de Villiers. Aan sy regterkant stateer Dr. Ronel Retief. Ek gaan die ander uitlos vir nou, want ons gaan u later vereer. I'll get to you later. Aan my linkerkant is dit Professor Arnold Skoonwinkel, is die rector, en dan Professor Wiekers van die kerk, die dekaan. U ken hom tog seker almal. En dan kom ek nou by wat ek gesê het ek nou sal doen. Professor Gideon van Sail en Meanel de Beer. Waar is u, Meanel de Beer? Kruip u weg? Nee, u kruip nie weg nie. We're delighted to welcome you here. You together with Professor Arnold Skoonwinkel will be honored with Chancellor's Awards this afternoon. Ons is natuurlik baie trots op Stellenbosch, op ons inklusiewe taalbeleid, dat ons vir almal die universiteit toeganklik gemaak het. For no one who can understand English is it now an impediment to study at Stellenbosch, maar terselfdertyd is ons trots daarop dat Stellenbosch se lang geskiedenis van betroeteling van Afrikaans ook nog gehandhaaf word. We are also proud that we will ask this afternoon Professor Malwande Dlali from our Department of African Languages. Hy gaan 'n verwelkoming aan u doen in isiXhosa.
Molweni manene na manenekazi. Siyanamkela kumsitho wothusa izidanga kule veki. Siyathemba ukuba olu suku luza kuba neenkumbulo ezinhle kwabo baza kube bethweswa izidanga kwiintsapho zabo kunye nezihlobo ngokubanzi. Manene namanenekazi, sizama ngako konke esinako ukubiza amagama abantu ngendlela efanelekileyo. Ndiqinisekile uDean nesekela lakhe bebezama ngako konke okusemandleni kuziqhelanisa noku, kodwa okuyinyani sinabo baza kube bethweswa izidanga, abasebenzi kunye neendwendwe ezivela kwindawo ngendawo ezahlukeneyo, ezineelwimi ezahlukeneyo, nezo zivela ngaphaya kwemida yaseMzantsi Afrika. Yiyo loo nto sicela ukuba nibe nenyameko kuba singakufumanisa kungumcelimngeni ukubiza amanye amagama kunye neefani. Enkosi.
We're about to start the most delightful part of the ceremony, which is when we go over to the performative part, which is the conferment of your degrees. And I'm really happy to say that in these December graduations, gister, vandag en môre, ons het 12 plegtighede al tesaam, is dit 5,701. Dis daar die een wat vir my so deurslaggewend is en betekenisvol is. I wonder who that extra one was. It was one of you. And then amongst them are 138 PhDs. And those, as I've said, are the ones that we are honoring by in-person graduation ceremonies. What will happen is that the ushers and the dean will call you up. Professor Wiekers van die kerk will be leading that part of the ceremony. And you will come across here. We won't shake hands, unfortunately, but we will acknowledge each other. I was asked by the photographer to sit down so that I don't tower over you, and when they take a picture of you, I'm cut off here. So I will be seated. And then I want to ask you, don't rush off. Take your time. We are broadcasting this live on various channels. There will be a recording of it available on the web afterwards. Take your time. This is your moment. You worked for it. Think of the worst moment Can you think of the worst moment? That's what you are here for now this afternoon. Wave to your family, wave to the camera. Gister het ek die landbouers uitgenooi om 'n dans te doen. Dink jy dis beter as ek die ingenieurs uitnooi om 'n dans te doen? Sal ek meer waarskynlik 'n dans van u uitkry? Who looks likely to do a dance? Nee, ek stem saam meneer. Ek dink nie ek gaan baie ver kom nie. But if anyone wants to do, take your time. This is your moment. You've earned it and it gives us joy. Bekan?
Mr. Chancellor, I request you to acknowledge the following candidates who graduated in March 2020 with a doctoral qualification. These candidates will cross the stage for ceremonial processes only. Olowasei Paul Babolola, with dissertation Soft Decision Decoding of Moderate Length Binary Cyclic Codes based on Parity Check Transformation, with supervision from Professor Jaco Versveld.
Congratulations.
Frederick Mukundi Mwaniki, with dissertation Modeling and Performance Evaluation of a Pseudo-Random Impulse Sequence for In Situ Parameter Estimation in Energy Applications, supervised by Professor Johan Vermeulen.
Congratulations.
Anuru Johannes Hermanus Redlinghuis, with dissertation and architecture for the digital twin of a manufacturing cell, supervised by Dr. Karel Kruger.
Baie geluk.
Daniel Skoonwinkel, with dissertation Quantification and Improvement of State Consistency in a Virtual Environment under Adverse Network Conditions, supervised by Professor Herman Engelbrecht, and he is also the son of Professor Skoonwinkel.
Baie geluk Daniel. Baie trots op jou.
Brian Sebabi, with dissertation Development of a Micro Gas Turbine for Central Receiver Concentrating Solar Power Systems, supervised by Professor Johan van der Spey.
Congratulations, Brian.
Rensu Tiart, with dissertation Virtual Reality Assistant Fluorescence Microscopy, Data Visualization and Analysis for Improved Understanding of Molecular Structures Implicated in Neurodegenerative Diseases. And I think that is the longest title we have this year. Supervised by Professor Thomas Nisler. He is also a colleague in the department. Congratulations.
Baie geluk.
Pierre Francois van der Spey with dissertation Derivation of a Traffic Load Model for the Structural Design of Highway Bridges in South Africa, supervised by Professor Roman Lenner. Baie geluk.
Baie geluk, Pierre.
Algurnon Steve van Rooyen with dissertation Mechanics and Durability of Surface-Treated Foamed Concrete, supervised by Professor Gideon van Zyl. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Meneer die kanselier, ek versoek u om die graad dokter in die wysbegeerte in die fakulteit ingenieurswese aan die kandidate wat ek aan die voorstel te verleen. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer on the candidates whom I'll present to you the degree Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Engineering. Ruan van der Westhuizen with dissertation Optimization of a Supercritical Carbon Dioxide Solar Thermal Power System, supervised by Professor Albert Groenwald.
Baie geluk, Ruan.
Melody van Rooyen with dissertation Thermal Power Plant Steel Creep Deformation Measurement using Digital Image Correlation, supervised by Professor Thorsten Becker. Congratulations.
Baie geluk, Melanie.
Meneer die kanselier, ek versoek u om aan die kandidate wie se name ook aan die voorgelê is, maar wat nie hier teenwoordig is nie, die onderskeie grade in hulle afwesigheid te verleen. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degrees on those candidates whose names have been presented to you but who could not attend in their absence.
In absentia, I confer degrees on the candidates whose names have been presented to me. In hulle afwesigheid ken ek die onderskeie grade toe aan die kandidate wie se name aan my voorgelê is. Meneer Dekaan, as ek net vir een oombliekie, ek sien baie van die PhD's het hulle studieleiers herken. Why don't we ask the supervisors to stand up and let us all give them a wonderful round of applause. Please, would you stand?
Meneer die kanselier, dames en here, dit is 'n uitstaande kenmerk van instellings wat op uitnemende prestasie ingestel is, dat verskillende vlakke en forme van erkenning aan uitmuntende presteerders gebied word. En in die konteks van die Universiteit Stellenbosch sluit dit onder andere kanselierstoekennings in, wat gefokus is op volgehoue uitmuntendheid in navorsing en of leer en onderrig, en of gemeenskapsinteraksie en of administrasie. Mr. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, an outstanding feature of institutions that focus on excellent performance is that excellent achievers receive acknowledgement on different levels and in different ways. And in the context of Stellenbosch University, this recognition includes the Chancellor's Awards. which focus on sustained excellence in research and/or learning and teaching and/or community interaction and/or administration. In the division of the Rector and Vice-Chancellor, we have one recipient of the Chancellor's Award for 2020, Professor Arnold Skoonwinkel, and in the Faculty of Engineering, we have two recipients of the Chancellor's Award for 2020, Professor Gideon van Zyl and Ms. Annelle de Beer. I have the pleasure of presenting the following motivation in respect of Professor Arnold Skoonwinkel. Mr. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, Arnold Skoonwinkel has made a tremendous impact on Stellenbosch University. During his illustrious career spanning 35 years, he served the university as an academic, as a researcher, and a research manager, as a departmental head, an associate dean, a dean for 2 terms, and finally, the vice-rector for learning and teaching for 2 terms. Under his leadership, the Faculty of Engineering expanded considerably in terms of student numbers and its strong research offering, including the creation of spin-out companies such as SunSpace, which led to the Sambandila satellite. Meneer die kanselier, dames en here, Arnold Skoonwinkel was ook hoof van die Telkom Sentrum van Uitnemendheid in Satellietkommunikasie, Spraak en Beeldprosessering en het die MTN SunStep skole tegnologie opvoedingsprogram met sy uitsonderlike sosiale impak van stapel gestuur. Professor Skoonwinkel het ook verskeie pioniersinisiatiewe gelei op die terrein van leer en onderrigbevordering. En die vernaamste hiervan is die informasie en kommunikasie tegnologie, oftewel die IKT-projek van die Universiteitsraad, wat 'n investering van bykans 220 miljoen rand oor 5 jaar van 2014 tot 2018 behels het. Mr. Chancellor, I request that you present the Chancellor's Excellence Award to Professor Arnold Skoonwinkel. Ek versoek u om die kanselierstoekenning vir uitnemendheid aan Professor Arnold Skoonwinkel te oorhandig.
Hartelijk geluk, Arnold. Wonderlijk. Ja, dank je.
I now have the pleasure of presenting the following motivation in respect of Professor Gideon van Zyl. Mr. Chancellor, Gideon van Zyl has played a significant leadership role over the last 20 years in the Department of Civil Engineering. He has been responsible for the presentation of several undergraduate and postgraduate modules and participates in the continuous process of program transformation. Sy belangrike bydrae tot navorsing is in 2018 en 2019 bekroon met die toekennings vir navorsingsuitnemendheid van die Universiteit Stellenbosch. As departementele voorsitter het hy sedert 2010 studente van verskillende agtergronde gementor om te help met die spesifieke akademiese en persoonlike uitdagings wat hulle in die gesig staar en om te leer uit hulle onderskeie agtergronde en kulture. Hy het 'n passie vir mentorskap en begelei verskeie jong kollegas, insluitende kollegas uit onderverteenwoordigde groepe. Mr. Chancellor, I request that you present the Chancellor's Excellence Award to Professor Gideon van Zyl. Ek versoek u om hierdie kanselierstoekenning vir uitnemendheid aan Professor Gideon van Zyl toe te ken.
Baie geluk vir Professor van Zyl. Wonderlik. Baie bly om met u.
I now have the pleasure of presenting the following motivation in respect of Ms. Annelle de Beer. Mr. Chancellor, Mrs. de Beer's exemplary contribution in professional services is clearly evident. As departmental manager of a technically complex engineering department, she is responsible for the smooth daily operation of this environment. She does this with dedication, commitment, and professionalism. Die afgelope paar jaar het mevrou Annel de Beer nie net die daaglikse bedrywighede van haar departement in die fakulteit ingenieurswese bestuur nie, maar sy was ook verantwoordelik vir die departement se intrek in 'n nuut opgeknapte gebou. Sy het ook die leiding geneem om die departement gereed te kry vir die hervat van bedrywighede na die COVID-19 grendeltydperk. Sy het daartoe bygedra dat die departement bedryfsingenieurswese 'n suksesvolle akademiese departement in al sy aktiwiteite geword het. Mr. Chancellor, I request that you present the Chancellor's Excellence Award to Mrs. Annel de Beer. Ek versoek u om die kanselierstoekenning vir uitnemendheid aan mevrou Annel de Beer te oorhandig.
Hartlik geluk mevrou. Baie dankie vir die diens. Het jy dit geniet? It's a wonderful afternoon. We've now reached the end of our proceedings, and in closing, I want to encourage you to take out with pride and with a sense of achievement and a sense of potential all that you've shown to us here this afternoon, what's brought you here this afternoon. We encourage you to stay in touch with us. We'd like to connect you to each other. We've got martisconnect.com, which offers you job opportunities, mentors, networking opportunities, places to post your own achievements. En waar jy ook al is daar altyd cirkels van alumni wat jy gekonnekteer kan word deur Stellenbosch. Be sure to check this particular ceremony on the internet where we're going to post it. And before we conclude, I know that there's one further group that all of you will want to thank, both now and when they later watch the ceremony. It's that you are not seated here simply because you flew solo. You flew with loved ones, you flew with children, you flew with parents, with siblings, with close friends, with sponsors. So let's give all your loved ones and supporters a round of applause as well. And now I can exercise my powers again. By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor, I hereby declare that this congregation of the University of Stellenbosch is at an end. Kragtens die magte aan my toegeken, verklaar ek hiermee dat hierdie kongregasie van die Universiteit Stellenbosch op einde is. Baie dankie.